So PlayStation have just released a new massive beta update, so let's dive straight into it. Don't forget everything using the video today. There are links in the description below for the best place to get those gaming products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Hi gamers, welcome back to the channel. So today I woke up and there's a massive PlayStation 5 update that's coming to beta. This will be rolling out to different countries, so the US, the UK, beta first. So what happens with beta is you might get an invite to test it out, and then it will run out to the beta versions first. People will test it, see how they go along with all these updates that are coming to the PS5, and then they'll roll it out later in the year to everyone else. So let's jump in and see what the updates are. Now, one of the biggest updates that come out with this beta version is the M.2 SSD drive. Now, previously it was only up to 4 terabytes. Now, Sony are putting this up to an 8 terabyte, which is going to be fantastic for those people struggling with storage. Now, as you know, in the last generation, most games on the PS4 ran from about 8 gig to 20 gig. Now, looking at the games like Call of Duty, at the moment, if you're playing a lot of online games, with all those massive maps and the 4K resolution, Call of Duty alone takes up 150 gig. Then you've got the games that take up around 120 gig. So the average games take between 80 and 150 gig at today's standards. Standard PS5 comes with a 1 terabyte memory. Some of that's took up with the system software, so you're getting around 800 gig. I did run out and I did update mine to a 2 terabyte. Now my 2 terabyte memory is getting pretty full. I would have upgraded to a 4 terabyte, but for what you pay for a 4 terabyte, you're basically paying for the price of another PS5. Now, if the M.2 expansions are going to come down in price, hopefully they will, because an 8 terabyte on the PS5 would be absolutely fantastic, especially with Sony being more favourable of the digital content as opposed to physical content. Now, I'm not a big fan of that. As you know, I like my physical media and I like to physically own it and be able to resell it on if I'm not a fan of that game. But it's all down to personal choice and whether people want physical media or whether digital media. And the new accessible features is going to be, you've been able to use a second controller. So you can now assign a second controller to the one account as an assist controller and use the 2 controllers to operate on the PS5 console as if they were one single controller. This means that with that feature, it introduces a new way for you to enjoy games collaboratively. So if you're playing with your kids or friends, you can navigate particular challenging sections of that game. And this will be accessible in settings and accessibility settings on the controllers. So you can use them to assist the controller with as a main controller, and you can also do this with a DualSense Edge controller or a PS5 supported third-party controller. So it's going to work across any controller you physically own. Now, one of the next features that are putting in this beta is the support of compatible Dolby Atmos enabled audio devices. So if you've got a surround sound system and you've got Dolby Atmos, you're going to be able to select that 3D audio sound, can now be enjoyed compatible via Dolby Atmos with any HDMI devices or soundbars, so your TV or your home cinema systems. So this is going to be a great upgrade, and you're going to have all those overhead channels, so up to 12 speakers, if not more, depending on what your Dolby Atmos system allows. We're also getting a party UI update, so you can now invite a player into a closed party without automatically adding the player into the group or creating a new group. Additionally, players can now send open or closed invites to party invitations to groups instead of only one individual player. So you'll also be able to share a screen preview. When someone's sharing their screen in a party that you can join, you'll be able to see as a preview of the image of the screen before you even enter the party. Also, we get an update to the Game Hub tournament tiles. So in the Game Hub tournament tiles, in a Game Hub, you can now see how many tournaments you've entered and the highest place you've achieved, as well as start time for the next tournament, and you can now select and see the full tournament list. So to be able to react to messages with emojis, so you can now add reactions to the messages with emojis, which makes communicate with friends quicker and easier. We've also got some easy to use features, so you'll now be able to search in your game library, and you can now search for games within that game library. It's also game help improvements, so the game help cards have been improved. So in addition to the progress activities, you can now see available, previously available, and upcoming and completed activities. When a card is selected, it also details the now displayed on the right side of the card, making it easy to find objectives and their corresponding hints. Browse for useful tips for getting the most out of your PS5 and learn about the new features and new discover tips section. Playing for night time and you don't want to interrupt anyone that's in bed, you can turn the beep off on that PS5, which is a great feature as well, so you're not going to wake anybody with a beep of a PS5. But I must say, out of of all those features, that M.2 being expanded to an 8TB is probably the top feature of all. And I think the second biggest feature is going to be able to connect a second controller, acting as one main controller to help your children out with those features on that game that they're struggling with. Now, don't forget, everything using the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those gaming products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. And make sure you just comment down below what part of that update that you're looking forward to on the PS5 and what feature you'd make the most of. Now, for those who are looking to install an M.2 drive on your PS5, check out this video next. And for those of you looking at cleaning your PS5, check out this video next. So thanks for watching, happy gaming, and I'll catch you next one.